this coming a little bit in media res because it always cuts off the beginnings and ends. But I still remember when I was a little boy and we got this place and you said it was a nice old place. And I was thinking, well, how old was I then? Probably about 8? No, even younger, 6-ish. Was I would have been about 6, wouldn't I? 5 or 6, and you said it's a lovely old house. And when I remember seeing this for the first time and looking at some of the details, just like this fancy brickwork here and the little, where the lighter red bricks are in amongst all the things. And yes, that's right. I ought to actually go and have a look at some of the details on the actual erosion. So you call that a signal, do you? What I'm focusing on now? Signal?
No, at the top.
At the top? Okay. That's the roof. Oh, are we talking about this, like a fleur-de-lis? Didn't you get a choice?
Yeah, a fleur-de-lis or just a round knob.
Righto.
So I had a fleur-de-lis.
Alright.
And then you've got the ridge tiles as well. They're a bit Victorian speciality.
Right, so it's a
blue
bit...
bricks on the park, you see, those Staffordshire blue bricks. They cost a fortune now to get them, you know.
Yes, you don't see them very often, do you?
They're really as hard as iron.
And this is actually a replacement front wall, isn't it?
Yes, the lorry knocked part of the other one down.
But there was a story attached to the old one, because weren't there sort of like metal...
Yeah, metal protrusions from it, where somebody had taken the railings down to make into aeroplanes, because they never were used. It was all a big contract.
Right. But...
everybody's iron railings away. Supposedly to be making aeroplanes out of.
Or bombs, maybe, I suppose. This is during the war, and people gave their iron up as part of the war effort.
Oh, they're saucepans.
Well, yes.
All that sort of stuff.
It's probably just somebody money-making, like people always do from wars, isn't it? But so this is a replacement. Well, you can't actually tell that it isn't an old wall, so they've made a very good job of it, haven't they?
Well, they said it looked terrible when it was first up, but this
other than that mortar, the piece of mortar there, which is a little bit modern, too modern. Yes, and they were absolutely right. And there's lovely bits of white moss on it. This is lichen, is it? Okay. That's the trouble with lichen. You can never tell it apart from moss, or at least I can't. But how would you say? What was the date this was built?
What, the house?
Yes.
1880 something.
1880 something.
Victorian.
So about 100.
Victorian.
Getting on for 130 years old then.
They're built in a similar style. They're Edwardian.
Right.
Which is older than them.
Okay. So it should be really listed, probably.
Not yet, no. They're just Victorian, unless they're special, very spectacular. But for this town, it's quite an old house.
Right. This interesting sort of like almost Celtic design on the bricks there, which you don't see very often. I remember when I first saw this and first sort of thought, had a look at the house here and thought, am I really going to live in an impressive old house like that?
It reminded me of an old vicarage.
Yes. Right, so we were going to have a look at the garden. Of course, the garden, you've developed the garden quite a lot over the years. And I just...
Well, I've changed it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what we have here, let's start maybe at this end. I actually gave you this tub, didn't I, Mother? That's euonymus together with some tricolour ivy, which now these two, there were a lot more plants in it than just those two, but now they've taken over the whole thing, so now it's a kind of like wrestling match between the euonymus and the ivy, and they seem to actually go together quite well. So I focus in on...
Hard to say which is winning. I think the ivy is actually winning. It usually seems to, but it's the pretty.
Yeah, it probably won't win in the end, won't it? But then at least the euonymus will have been a good skeleton for it to grow on. And well, the euonymus is actually looking good. And of course, in winter, the euonymus should have a bit of a pinkish look to it.
Does,
so that gives you different things at different times of the year. Next to the front door here, you've got this trellis. I don't know if anything's growing up that. The ivy that ivy seems to spread. That ivy I gave you seems to spread, and it's about to go up it, isn't it? So right. So here we have hollyhocks, which look like the triffids. We already had the trouble with lichen, and now we've got the day of the triffids.
I like hollyhocks. I think they're lovely things.
Yes.
I've got these ones here. I used to have a load of green ones, and now they all seem to be pink ones. But
It's a big leaf.
The story behind the hollyhocks is that I nicked them.
You nicked them. Do you want to come clean as to who you nicked them from?
Walking along Gorney's Road where my knee was bad,
Uh-huh.
there were loads and loads of hollyhocks, and I thought, come the autumn, I'm going to take some of those seed pods.
Oh, you nicked the seed pods?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not nicking. I thought you'd actually uprooted them from somebody.
So when I was walking back along in the dark, I just had a couple of seed pods.
Uh-huh.
And
didn't I give you this?
Chuck them down. That is your forsythia, yeah?
This is my forsythia.
That is your forsythia.
But isn't that my...
I pruned right back. Oh yes, that little, fair thing. Yeah.
So I gave you that as well, yeah, that yew.
And
it's a yew.
It's a yew, is it?
Yes, it's a yew.
Right, and all of this funny stuff down here grew in the pot.
That's right, that's
I don't know what it is.
euphorbia? Is it?
Might be euphorbia,
I think it is a kind of euphorbia. Yeah.
That's bad on your skin, isn't it?
Well, it's
I
not
planted
good,
a whole packet of candy tufts and I managed to get 2 flowers. Usually I've got a whole mass of them there.
These things are called candy tuft, are they?
Weedy little things down there. There should be a whole patch of them. That's all I've got. And there are some foxgloves under there which are well past it.
Yes, they've passed their sell-by date.
They have indeed.
You won't be able to take any digitalis out of that music for heart surgery around here anytime soon.
They're down here.
So did these flower? This is really big now, this forsythia, isn't it?
I pruned it right down after it flowered. You see, you prune it after they flower.
Right.
And all of this
is new growth this year.
Yeah.
Well, that's remarkable, isn't it? But, you know, I'll tell the story behind this. I nicked this.
The forsythia?
Yeah, but I'll tell you how I did that. In Slough, about 7 years ago, I took a cutting from somebody's forsythia that was still in flower, just a hard root thing. Stuck it. I didn't even use rooting compost. I just stuck it in a milk bottle of water, and it took root.
That's the way I always root things as well, just in water and on the windowsill.
It took root, and then I put it into soil afterwards. After a while I gave it to you, and now it's getting on to be a really sizable bush, isn't it?
It was in a tub for a long time,
which
kind of stunted its growth. I think if I'd taken it out of the tub sooner, but I thought you might take it away, but if I'd taken it out of the tub sooner, it would have...
Well, I'm going to start a new one. I'm going to start a new one, I think. I'm going to... I always forget to do it while the forsythia is in flower, and afterwards, of course, you never remember which things were forsythia. You will actually code up the leaf and...
But again, the blue things, they've gone over.
What's this? Lavatoria. Lavatoria. Okay.
Mallow.
It's a mallow, is it? Okay. Is it a marshmallow?
No.
Okay, so it definitely keeps clear of sort of like boggy land then, even though it's called Lavatoria.
Yeah.
Okay. Sort of not very appropriate then, really, the name.
And all of these, look at this, ash tree, sycamore, I cut all of them to the ground.
But these are all from seeds, they're self-seeded things, are they, from local trees?
What I actually had here is one of these, which is...
Berberis, barberry bush, isn't it, or is it a cotinia?
No, berberis.
It's a barberus. Berberis.
Clematis montana, it's nice.
Clematis montana.
Covered with pink flowers
right.
in the spring.
Okay, we're late to see that, but maybe on another video.
You see, I've got a sycamore and I've got ash, and every year I cut them down.
What's this yellow flower here?
That is a weed.
Is it really?
Which drives me mad. Yes, the whole thing is full of it. Look at that great big thing there. Now underneath here.
Well, at least it's got something on it for a weed.
Underneath here is.
But its leaf looks almost like a parsley leaf. Has it really got nothing?
Underneath is the ceanothus, which is lovely, and it's completely swamped at the moment with this stuff.
Well, how's it so small?
Because I think it's a ground running one. I don't think it's the one that goes up. I think it's one that goes across. But you see, this thing...
So does it have blue flowers?
Yeah. This thing just grows so fast, and I haven't done anything since we went to Moscow to the garden. So in that time, about 6 weeks, it's completely engulfed it.
Well, while we're about this bit, then tell me something about these Icelandic poppies. Are they Esquivaria or something? What are they called?
They're self-seeded from the back.
Self-seeded, okay. They look very pretty, don't they? Be careful because you've got some without any leaves on there.
I used to have a garden full of them, but they look very pretty when they're in flower, but they don't flower for very long. And then after that, they look pretty scabby, and all the growth of it gets a bit sticky.
And you can't even get any morphine out of them because they're not that generous. So these roses are really quite big, aren't they? Really tall, and everybody walking past admires them, don't they?
It's supposed to be good on the north facing wall. They're called Alexandra roses.
Alright, so it's the same named off the street. Okay, fantastic. What colour they have, and they're quite a nice smell as well, aren't they?
I can't smell them.
You can't smell them?
No.
Yeah, people do keep smelling them, don't they?
Me,
And you've got, oh, I see, we've got a little bit of a soundtrack coming in here, whether we like it or not. So, that was kind. I'll probably get told off for breaking somebody's intellectual copyright over that track that wasn't even music. What is this? Pink? Sea pink?
Just pinks, all of that is pinks. They were all in flower earlier, and this thing was quite a fancy job. I don't know what it is. I can't remember the name of it now. But
That's gone.
Yeah.
But, you always liked this tree, didn't you? It's Sorbus, isn't it? What's it called? Mountain
National Rowan.
Right. And it's got some berries just growing on it now, but they haven't come into colour yet, have they?
They don't go red, they're orange.
Are they? Okay.
And this is some kind of spirea or something that's called. It looks lovely in spring. It's all white flowers in cascades. Buddleia.
Yeah, it's not come out yet, has it, that buddleia? It's going to be a bit later, is it?
Yeah. Poor mutated
what is it? Oh, but you always had that.
It was chopped down and it
grew back up again.
To be that, so it's trying its best. But that tree over there fell down in a gale on top of these bushes and smashed them right back. So
Well, the buddleias.
Every year I cut them down to about knee high.
Right.
And
they grew
right across there, fell right across there, and you couldn't even get down the garden.
Really?
Just blocked the whole thing up.
Okay. Yep.
Irises up that corner, but of course, you see everything's over. Everything's hard. Irises and bluebells up that corner always, but they've gone.
Well, you're never going to get everything at once. That's the thing about gardens. That's the.
If you come in May.
See, there's a couple of snails down there. Okay, it's something to finish on, isn't it?